I think one thing I want to highlight for the self-directed IRAs, this is an area that nobody, I would say 90% of the public isn't even aware that it exists. And what it is most people think your IRA is required to be invested in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And the reality is that's not true. You can invest in virtually anything. You can invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, but you can also invest in real estate, tax liens, private mortgages, horses, farmland, private companies, physical gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, airspace rights, water rights. I mean, you can invest in virtually anything with your retirement account. Now, most people don't know that. They say, well, is this some sort of special account? No, it's not a special account. Your IRA that you have now can do that. Now, you're probably thinking, all right, I'm going to go call my TD, Schwab, Fidelity, or whoever and say, hey, I want to invest in this real estate. Well, they're going to tell you can't do that. And what they really mean is they can't do that because it is allowed by the Internal Revenue Code that what most people think is, well, it doesn't say I can invest in this. Yes, it doesn't say what you can invest in. It just says what you cannot invest in. So the IRS or the Internal Revenue Code allows you to invest in virtually anything except for life insurance on yourself, S corps, and collectibles. Outside of that, you can invest in virtually anything else. Now, that is a big pool to fish in. And if you're an expert at something, you should pursue that. So if you're good at real estate investing or investing in private companies or whatever, mining precious metals, whatever it is, you can do that most likely inside of your retirement account. And people don't know that. They say, well, why don't I know about this? Is this some secret? Well, it's not really a secret. It's just the big companies, the big discount brokers of the world, and this gets back to the advertising comment, they have a big marketing budget. And they market that you should direct your self-directed IRA, they use the same language, self-directed IRA into stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. You can invest in anything you want. Well, anything that they carry. So it's up to the custodian, in this case, those companies, they're the custodian, to decide what they will allow in the IRA that you have with them. So they don't allow you to invest in real estate because they're not an expert at that. And they don't want to do that business. So they're not going to advertise that you can because your business will go elsewhere. So it's not some sort of, scheme or some sort of secret they're trying to hide from people. It just comes down to the marketing dollars. The marketing dollars are not held by the companies that specialize in this because they're not as big as the companies that make, all this money on mutual funds and stock trades and all that. So it's a great tool for you to minimize your taxes with investments that you can hold in your retirement account and compound that money over time, tax deferred or tax free, depending on the type of IRA you have. So self-directed IRAs, I mean, it's we as a firm are one of the only specialists in the entire country that specialize in this. And we did it because we love the fact that people can invest in what they know. The old Peter Lynch quote. You shouldn't have to invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The stock market is a scary place. It's getting scarier. And people don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. And I invest there every day. It doesn't make sense to me because logic doesn't dictate the markets anymore like it used to. 20 years ago it did, but now it's almost the inverse of logic. So, a lot of people don't like that and they feel uncomfortable. And if there's an asset you want to invest in, you can do that within your retirement account. It is possible. So I just want to put that out there because I think everyone should be aware that this is one of the greatest tools of wealth creation and preservation that exists.
I like that. I think that's a great way to end as it pertains to the wealth side of the discussion. Is that the easiest way to access it? Of course, I'll get in the show notes, but innovativewealth.com, or do you have a back page or anything?
Yeah, you just go to innovativewealth.com, and on the top, there's a link for managing your wealth. It just says self-directed IRAs. You go there, and we have one of the best resources on self-directed IRAs on the internet. I know because I wrote it myself.
think that's a good one to fade. Yeah, I'll cut this in the video in the podcast. I'll do some kind of rollout or something like that. So then I'm gonna come back to the how to monetize your podcast, and this will be a whole separate episode. I'm gonna split these two. Let me see how I want to introduce this. I guess I'll start with this story. You're now tuned into the smooth sounds of TMG. I'm your host, D. Marcus Garrett,